What's up guys, my name is Chris Karyusai and welcome back to the Karyusai channel. This time around, Coral Island first look video. Coral Island is a farming sim game released into early access in October 2022, developed by Stairway Games. Now Stairway Games is an Indonesian dev, and if you don't know, us Indonesians love our diverse culture more than anything in this planet, so you can expect a bunch of aspects of Indonesian culture being implemented in the game. Although there are various East Asian culture too, and some Western culture as well. I don't know why they decided to make this game into a melting pot of culture. Well, anyway, you probably came here to look for a game dangerously similar to Stardew Valley, or you are a Stardew Valley elitist who hates plagiarism. Either way, you're very welcome, and please do watch till the end before making any conclusions. First thing first, in this game you play as someone who just moved into Coral Island after you inherited the farm from your grandpa. I don't understand why every single farming game uses this particular premise to start the game. Nobody ever starts off with like, you just born into the farm, so you have at least the basic farming skills, or you're moving to a farm because you're following your crush or something. I don't know, I guess it's just industry standard. Now after the first cutscene, you will be tasked to plant some seeds and introduce yourself to the townsfolk. Now this game takes a lot, and I mean a lot, of Stardew Valley mechanics. I mean, you probably already noticed the exact same inventory system, or maybe the tools you are given to start with, or even the stupid random sprout on the ground that if you blow them, there is a chance that you could get a book, and you can read that book in the library. To be fair, this game is still in early access stage. At the time of making this video, it is still in version 0.2. So we're gonna have 8 more major updates before the final version. Maybe by that time, the game will look nothing like Stardew Valley. Now what I like to do is to forage some stuffs while walk around and introducing myself to 30 people around. I do appreciate them to include the dogs and the cats as Tonies. Speaking of which, these animals will walk around town and do various things. I once saw Taco the dog playing around in the fountain, and I saw Peanut the cat climbing around ledges and rooftops. And I think those are the things that cats and dogs do. And all this on top of the various Tony's activities throughout the town, like playing volleyball, doing yoga, or like aerobics and stuff, playing kites. I think this makes the game feel a lot more immersive, and I feel like this is what Coral Island does better compared to Stardew Valley, because in case of Stardew Valley, it is limited by its own art style, while Coral Island can show a much more detailed and immersive environment and animations with the cutesy 3D art style. Now, while walking around town, you might notice this construction building. If you come back to this 3 or 4 days later, you'll find people protesting a corporate representative. Sounds similar, right? A certain game called Stardew Valley also has some sort of plot opposing a big evil corporation. Again, this is some of the aspect where they just tune it to 3D, slap a different name on it, and call it a day. Now when it comes to map, I'm actually quite impressed at how big yet compact it is. I mean, some games like Story of Seasons, Pioneer of Olive Town, you have such a disproportional character model compared to the environment. So the world looks a lot emptier than it should. In Coral Island, this is not the case. The world is very well decorated with luscious and such. The buildings have very unique architecture styles, and the size is just perfect that it doesn't make the world feel empty or too cramped. Kudos to the level designer though. My only complaint about the map is the fact that there are too many houses. Normally in this kind of game, they would go ahead and put the house inside the store to save space. But in this case, we have a lot of spaces, so some of the townsfolk have separate house and workspace. The thing is, I feel like these houses are more like a filler, because they don't serve any purpose aside from being a part of the NPC schedule. They could have, for example, split the animal store into a poultry farm where you can buy your poultry needs, and a ranch where you buy cows, sheep, and stuff. Instead, they have separate store for kitchen utensils and furniture. I don't understand why you don't just build one big IKEA where you can buy big furniture and small kitchenwares. The map utilization, I feel like, is still a bit of a case of hit or miss. Now at this point in time, if you're a veteran farming sim player like me, I'd like to start picking my sweetheart. At first, I really want to go with Raina, the receptionist at the pufferfish office. But the game doesn't like fun, so I decided to go with Alice, because her sister Suki is an e-girl. But I was shot down as well, because apparently my friend who played this game too decided with Alice. So I moved on to Eva. But then I thought Eva is way too easy and no challenge at all. That's why I decided with Nina, who only comes over during the summer, so that will be the challenge. Now when it comes to marriage, I have yet to reach that point, nor can I find any footage of people getting married in the game online, so I'm not sure if that feature is released already. However, I do have some beef with relationship mechanics. Because you're limited to 2 gifts per week per person, this sucks because it puts my schedule out of whack. If I can give her a gift every day, I can develop a habit to do that. But since it's only twice a week, it's a lot more difficult to build a habit out of it because you're gonna have to do it less often. Therefore, I will definitely miss a week or 2 worth of gifting. Now, in order to afford gifts, you're gonna need money, and I found the best way to make money in here is to plant stuffs. What's funny in this game is the fact that you need a scarecrow. Oops, wrong footage apparently. Otherwise, crows will take your ripe crops away. So you're gonna have to design the farming area around to be able to accommodate scarecrows and sprinkles. This crafting mechanic, while very similar to Stardew Valley, I would say it's pretty much has become the industry standard at this point, considering everyone does this already. Now in terms of seeds, you can buy some of them from the general store or very unusual other sources. I mean, about pumpkin seed from a monkey, who also sells a panda costume. Other than farming, you can also forage to get cash, but that method is garbage and you won't get shit with it. So, go with other means such as fishing. But while the fishing mechanic is pretty fun, it takes a long time to catch a single fish, or bug catching, which is a painful chore in this game. You see, this game has a museum feature in which you can donate bugs, fishes, fossils, and artifacts to it. However, unlike Animal Crossing New Horizon, this is sort of a bootleg, pirated, and unfinished version of it. Although you do get rewards from donating, I just don't feel like it's worth my time at all, so I rarely ever fish and catch any bugs. That leaves us with 2 other methods of making money, mining and diving. Now when it comes to mining, I feel insanely underwhelmed in this game. I'm sure it's most likely because this is an early access, but the mine is rather unrewarding and tedious. They also decided that adding a little bit of combat in the mine is a good idea for some reason, and they haven't expanded on this idea even further. Now, in this game, you mine in cavern. There are 4 different elemental mines you can go to, but at first you can only go to the earth mine. Here's where it gets stupid. Typically with mines, the deeper you go, the rarer the rewards you get. But this isn't the case in this game. You can be as deep as you want, but the reward will stay the same. For earth mine, bronze and amber. The only saving grace is the thing they borrowed from Stardew Valley, which is the geode thing you can open at the blacksmith, and hope to god that you get some expensive jewelries. Although ores are really useful too for upgrading your tools and crafting some items, but I rarely ever sell any ores at all. Now, the last method to make money is diving. I think this mechanic is unique to Coral Island. I'm not sure because I haven't played Stardew Valley, but either way, the diving is pretty cool. You have to find this tiny probe that will clean the oil-infested ocean, so at some point you can have some clean ocean. Now while diving, you can grab yourself some trash and scraps for crafting materials, as well as kelps, which for some reason colored bronze and silver. Now they are used to upgrade your seeds and products, and I honestly quite enjoy the diving, because you get a ton of resources this way. Now in this game, you are ultimately tasked to restore Coral Island to its former glory. The mayor will tell you that Isabel rated the island F. Oh, it wasn't Isabel? Oh, it was Judge Ross who rated the island F because the oil spill and the missing museum artifacts. Now in order to achieve this goal, you have to fulfill 3 major objectives, one of them being diving and cleaning the ocean.
Complete the museum donation.
As well as speak to mythical goddess whom you need to give Sajen. Very similar to Stardew Valley Community Center mechanic. You gotta give a couple of things on each season as a tribute to the goddess. Phew. I think that is all I've got to say about Coral Island at this point. I'm thinking I might do another one once they updated the game. I'm not expecting to play the game a lot right now though, because it is still in early access and there are a ton of broken and unreleased features. Now on to the debate whether or not this game is plagiarizing Stardew Valley. I opened the comment section for you guys, but personally I would say yes and no. At some aspect, they do copy the gameplay mechanics frame by frame, but they also added their own touch and innovative elements. Is it necessarily a bad thing? I don't know. However, I do hope that Stardew Games will manage to release version 1.0 with significant distinction from Stardew Valley. Either way though, the fact that there are more farming sim in the market means they're gonna push the big dog to step up their game, so they won't one day be buried by these guys. That being said, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.